we actually have a farm upstate, Flowering Sun farm, and we're growing our vegetables. We're having actually growing mushrooms, our own mushrooms. So there is definitely this love for earth, this love for the community.
Creative solutions are the best contributions we make. Welcome to the Creative Solutions Podcast. On the show, it's my job to tease out the creative solutions my guests are coming up with to change the world through creativity, social action, and mindset. I also give you tips and techniques so you can do the same. Hey there, this is Izolda. If you heard about this podcast on Friday and you just want to know what the codes are, here you go. If you go to the Jungle Cafe and you mention the Creative Solutions Podcast and the number 131 between now and the end of July, you're going to get 15% off your meal and an iced coffee. How cool is that? And now back to our show. This episode is brought to you by my class, Meditation for Busy People, where you can discover clarity and joy in just 5 minutes a day. It's also brought to you by the Brain FM app and this podcast's host, Podbean. Also, follow the podcast on Instagram or TikTok and check out our shop for merch, music, and musings. The links are all in the show notes. Hey there, and welcome to the Creative Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Izolda Trachtenberg. Super excited that you're here, and I am thrilled to be bringing you an unusual episode of the show because I am live, and I am here at one of my favorite places, the Jungle Cafe in Greenpoint in Brooklyn in New York City, with the operator of this fabulous restaurant, Sebastian Rogowski. I am super excited to have him here to talk about essentially what his role is in this place and what this place is trying to do to better people, animals, the environment, pretty much everything. So I'm ridiculously excited that he's decided that he wants to talk with me about this because it's so, as you know, so important to my life. But let me tell you about the Jungle Cafe first. Jungle Cafe is a vegan restaurant in Greenpoint in Brooklyn, and they're dedicated to nutritious, wholesome vegan food at a reasonable price. They use traditional recipes and fresh ingredients. They also consciously prepare the high-quality ingredients, support vegan cuisine, and avoid all animal products. Yes. By doing that, they acknowledge the interconnectedness of our environment and spiritual and physical selves. Community members came together to design and create a happy, clean atmosphere at the Jungle Cafe so people could relax while enjoying their delicious food. Greenpoint community members personally built every last detail of the restaurant, and they used reclaimed wood to do it. Yes. As a former NASA person, I have to tell you, this is all just catnip to me. I think if they have a credo at the Jungle Cafe, it's this: build it with love and people will feel it when they enter. And most guests, me included, agree upon entering. It just feels good to be in the Jungle Cafe. So, Sebastian, I'm super happy to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time and welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm really excited to do this. I hope that this message will be taken in a good way.
So you're going to notice that there's a little bit of a lag as we talk because I'm moving a microphone back and forth, but it's worth it, let me tell you. So, Sebastian, I would love to, we chatted a little bit about you earlier, and I would love to get to know a little bit more about this place and what prompted you to be the operator of it and bring this little bit of veganism to Greenpoint. What led you here, and how has it influenced your life and choices?
Well, it all started a long time ago. Actually, 9 years, even more. I came to New York City seeking spiritual guidance, and I found a teacher that decided to take me upon his wings, and oh, thank you. Sweet and savory. So he decided, food arrived. That was the little situation here, but and during that journey we were talking about a lot about service and service to the community, and how we can bring the practical part of the spirituality and how to really serve people. And one of the things what we were talking about in our meditations and meetings, that we need to elevate the food and nutrition, and that it would be a great thing to start a restaurant to educate people and to serve and to show the people and the community that it is possible to eat healthy, it is possible to eat simply and affordably. So our teacher, Maestro Manuel Rufino, which is the founder of this place, inspired us to get together and to start planning. So we had multiple meetings at our community center in Golden Drum, and we sat down multiple evenings, and we were going through menu and to operations and what we want to present and what way. And so we're sitting right now in this vision when we have community tables, when we have a buffet, so to share with people what we've been taught, what we've been inspired to do, and to share that eating vegan is not only eating grass and eating salad, that it's actually a beautiful journey into food, and it's very clean and it's affordable, and the nutrition value and health value is just I don't know, it's invaluable. It's a direct source of food. I don't like to get too political about things when it comes to food. We rather try to show it from a perspective of inspiration, from perspective of to give an example that it works and it's possible, that it is healthy and it is tasty, and so that's the main our main inspiration. So, and I thought that the community responded really good, and there are still customers that come in and they love our food. So that's the main vision. We added on our way. We added another component because we grew our community, and we actually have a farm upstate, Flowering Sun farm, and we're growing our vegetables. We're having actually growing mushrooms, our own mushrooms. So there is definitely this love for earth, this love for the community. And most of our community members, love to cook and love to share. So we all have some kind of kitchen backgrounds, but we try to keep it somehow, presentable. So we don't go crazy on the menu. But yeah, that's our story.
And I love that story. And I think it's great that you are approaching it from a cyclical perspective, right? You're not going, oh, we're just going to cook the food and we're going to sell the food. You're building a community, and with this farm, you're actually taking it from earth to table and then building the community to go out further. And I think, yay, that's terrific. And just so you know, I took pictures so you'll be able to see it in the show notes. If you're listening to this, they've just dropped off avocado toast with tofu scramble and amazing looking pancakes and a fruit bowl. And these are all holistic, whole ingredients, right? None of this is overly processed or anything. It's designed from looking at it. It's designed, and I love it here. And I've already told Sebastian this. My favorite dish here is the mushroom potato tacos. Oh, so good. So if you're in New York City, come and visit for sure. And the whole point for me in listening to Sebastian, in listening to your answer, is that there was forethought and vision that came together to bring this place to fruition. And I'm really grateful that I found this place and that you're doing it this way. I did want to ask, though, I mean, New York City is so diverse in its food options, and you're one room, small place, but you have a thriving community, which is great. But there are so many vegan restaurants coming and going, and I guess I want to know, how do you do a daily changing buffet, right? Which I think is incredible, and I want to come to the Eastern European Day, which is super cool. But how do you do that in a buffet that appeals? I've brought vegans and non-vegans to this place before, and you're showcasing the essence of vegan cuisine, and you're showcasing the essence of building community. How are you doing all of that while maintaining a place that in a city where restaurants come and go almost every single day?
Well, the reason behind the change of the buffet daily is because we have a lot of customers that are eating here almost daily. There are even people that eat here 2 times a day. So for that reason, we also try to keep the food pretty fresh, and also to show that it is fresh, because that is our mission. So we don't want to cook ahead of time. We don't want to keep things frozen. We want to share the food as is in its pure form and fresh, because that's what we believe in. That the most nutritious value of the food is when it's done fresh and served fresh. So it's there are definitely a few things behind it. First of all, the customer will get bored if there is only Polish tacos 7 days a week, which actually we tried at the beginning, and we had buffet which was every day the same, and we noticed that the interest of it was going down. So we decided to incorporate and bring some food from different parts of the world. So, for example, our Tuesdays are Indian Tuesdays, and there's a Eastern Thursday. There's a Mexican Friday. We're trying to bring also some Asian food, I think, on Mondays, and Italian from those regions on Wednesdays. So we're just trying to keep it also fresh and interesting, and because that's what also food and cooking is. It needs to be done in the moment. It needs to be done and based on the needs of the person when somebody's eating, because we need different nutrients from different sources. So if we're gonna keep eating, potatoes every day, at the end our body naturally is gonna say, that's enough. We need something different. So that's also like a part of the practical, teaching here is, yes, we need to keep switching things around, because things accumulate in our body. They're that the body naturally needs to discard. Like, for example, spinach, has nutrients that if you keep eating every single day, it'll create a poison in the body. So, but that's with most of the ingredients, most of the vegetables. We need to keep switching around. Also, for the sake of just keeping also the dopamine levels up, that's also food for our brain. But those are the main reasons that we're doing that.
See, now I'm fascinated because I love the foods that I love. And yes, I could eat potatoes 3 meals a day, every single day. French fries, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes. I can change them up and do that, and it would be fantastic. In fact, when I was a kid in Moldova, before I knew how to cook, my older sister, who was only 5 years older than I was 2, she was 7, she would make me fried potatoes, only she didn't understand that she needed to turn them. So they were black on one side and raw on the other, and I ate them happily. So my love for potatoes goes way back. But what's interesting about that, though, to me, is that you have a real concern, I can say, with making sure that your customers, the people who are part of your community, come in here and love the food. You said you had people who are coming sometimes twice a day to eat here, which I think is amazing. And if I lived closer, I would be here twice a day. And at the same time, one of the things, like I had a friend come in from out of town, and he said, "Where should we go?" And I said, "I have the perfect place," and I brought him here. And he loved it. He enjoyed his sandwich so much. And the thing is, when people say to me, recommend things, this is one of the places I recommend because I know they're going to have a good experience as well as really good food. But most of my friends are vegan, and when people who are not vegan ask for recommendations, I don't know what to tell them because I don't eat at non-vegan places. I really only eat at vegan places. So I guess my question to you is, what steps do you all take to introduce the sort of greater New York City community to this place in order to get, and I'm not going, oh, you have a message of veganism and you're stuffing it down people's throats. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's more like, how do we, as people who care about the earth and care about the animals and care about what goes in our bodies and care about community, introduce people in a way that is not going to be hitting them over the head? How do you do that with this place to invite new community members in?
That is a great question. And the way that we're doing it here, we're trying to show the very familiar foods that are and presenting them as vegan options. So, for example, we're using some of the like soy products, like meat alternatives that we bring to the restaurant. We're using some of the burger patties that we purchase for the people that are eating meat, that they feel like they're that they actually ate something, because there is some kind of like a general feel sometimes that I don't feel satisfied with this because it's just salad or it's just a sandwich. So we have definitely like a fake chicken or beef that we doing certain. They have certain recipes that are, let's say, transition to show the people that it actually tastes good. In some instances, I feel like some of the things are tasting even better and are easier to digest. Of course, it's still some of the things are processed, and we understand that, but we're trying to include. We're into including the audience. We don't want to exclude anybody. We don't want anybody to feel like we're into converting people on to one side. We want to include people. We want to for people from all walks, from all traditions, and from everywhere to feel welcome and to feel inspired, to feel that they are taken care of here, that when they're eating, there are some options for vegan people. There are options for people that eat raw. We have raw salads. We have we have, for example, macro bowl. That's for people who have some macrobiotical diets. So we're trying to include as much as possible, not to like close ourselves in. And I feel like we have foods that multiple times there are customers that come in, and there's a couple, and for example, either one of the person is vegan and one of the people in the relationship is not, and they're like, no, I'm gonna go next door. I need a burger. So we always try to like talk to the customer and inspire, or say, hey, how about you try this, this on the house, or maybe you try the nuggets, or maybe you try a burger or a taco, or something to break that little uncomfortable bubble that sometimes is there, some misconception. And I know that there are some I was also at the beginning, when I got into veganism, I felt like I need to like really preach about it and really like convince people, but in a very like I don't know, religious way, or like very trying to convert. And I noticed that there was a lot of opposition, even more opposition came with that. So I changed my approach, and inclusion definitely works much better. And just to say, hey, just try it. It's nothing. There's no strings attached. So we're trying to do it in that way, So.
And I love that, and it's funny because I don't know how you grew up. You and I are from similar parts of the world. I grew up a hardcore carnivore. I ate meat all the time, never gave a thought to what it was I was eating until I was in college. And once I started sort of going, oh, what part of the cow was that I just ate when I was eating a burger? Once I started figuring all of that out and started thinking about it, it sort of became a natural thing. And I too was hardcore for a while. I went into this place where everybody should be vegan, and in my heart of hearts, I believe that we all could be vegan, but that's not the point of this episode. But what was interesting to me, and what is interesting now, I post food all the time on my socials, for example. And whenever I eat, like, this will go up on my socials. And why? Because I love inviting exploration of food, that we can explore food together. And it doesn't have to be limited by, it's not a meal unless it's got a dead animal on it. So that's kind of where I am. And part of it for me, the awakening for me was, I worked at NASA for many years, and working at NASA, I was very much into the environment and still am. And being an environmentalist meant to me being sustainable, and sustainability is going to be better accomplished if you are leaving a smaller footprint, which means no animal agriculture. So I guess the question that I have for you next is, I know that you are all practicing sustainability as much as possible. I would love to know how this place incorporates eco-friendly practices. You've already mentioned that you source from your own farm, which is cool. What other things are you doing to sort of embrace conservation and sustainability?
We're trying to use products and trying to do our research as much as possible, and use the products that are environment friendly as much as we can. There are certain things that we cannot avoid. We still use propane in our kitchen. We still, because that's what we have as a resource right now, and we're just trying to keep updating and going with the flow and going with the compostable and to-go containers or plastic products. We're trying to avoid as much as possible. So we are definitely into that practice. We at the moment we're not able yet to completely eliminate it because like I said, we're definitely are in this mainframe of working under certain health codes and that we need to use certain products. So, but again, we keep researching, we keep trying to be as updated as possible. So, and to have, for the customer to have, the best experience, and if we find out that there's better products, we incorporate them. We incorporate them. One of the also things that we were big is our water. So we made sure that we did some research and found some water specialist, and we got ourselves a very, very nice and expensive water filtration system for the water to be really clean, because we believe that yes, we would like to share that resource, but we want to make sure that it's also clean, that doesn't have any chemicals, and so as much as we can, we're doing that. That's why, yes, there are a lot of, if you look around, there's the tables are made out of reclaimed wood, the light fixtures, but still on the pipes are cast iron pipes, the doors are aluminum. So if we could, we definitely would build it out of earth, fully and serve on a banana leaf. But I don't know if New York City health department would really give us a good grade for doing that. So we're trying to do that as much as possible.
And what's interesting, like for me right now, we're eating our fabulous lunch that your wonderful cooking staff made for us on china plates and with metal silverware. It's not plastic. It's reusable, right? And that, to me, I love that. And my job, and I think we who are the community, for example, hang on. I carry my own napkin, right? I carry my own cloth napkin because whenever I can, I'll use that, right? So that I minimize it. So I think we as a community can come together, and that's all of us. We could all be carrying a cloth napkin and then reusing that cloth napkin. Why? Because then fewer trees are being killed, right? So when we're doing this, when we're talking about the community itself, and we're talking about the way you've innovated in this place with the reclaimed wood, and it's funny because I recognize the reclaimed wood on the tables and the benches, but did not notice the lights. They are reclaimed wood too, and I'm going to need to take a few more pictures so that if you're listening to this, you can see it. Because these folks are innovating, but they're innovating more naturally, and I freaking love that. So, but let's talk a little bit more about the food itself, right? When we're talking about being creative and being innovative, I'd love to know, like, this stuff, it tastes amazing. My pancakes are incredible. They're so flavorful. They taste really fresh. But innovation and creativity, and this is the Creative Solutions Podcast, so we can actually, we should be talking about creativity and innovation. So what are some of the techniques and ingredient combinations that you've introduced into your dishes to sort of challenge the perceptions or maybe the misconceptions of vegan food of the greater community?
Well, it is innovative, but at the same time it's going back. we're going back to the roots. We're trying to go back to nature and to in innovative way to just bring back the nutrients to the people, because I think it's very important, and it's to know how to create your own dish. Or, for example, if you're going to a restaurant or going to the store, that you're listening to your body, what it needs. So we're trying to, when we're creating the dishes, we're trying to include all of the nutritional knowledge that we have, that we're also still learning, and into our dishes. And I know that there's a lot of discussions about certain products. I know that, and I noticed recently online, there's a lot of discussions about avocados and almonds. But if you come to Jungle Cafe, you definitely will find a lot of legumes, a lot of grains, chickpeas, peas, lentils, all kinds of legumes, and all kinds of grains, from rice to buckwheat to quinoa, which are very big sources of protein, and I and all the vitamins. And I think that's also there's a lot of discussion about malnutrition, and because it takes a skill really to be vegan. At least that's what I think, that you really need to stay on top of your nutrition, and to make sure that it's not only a avocado toast and potatoes. There needs to be some vegetables. There needs to be some variety, and making sure that we're getting full nutrition. So here we're trying to stay on top of that, and we're trying to also incorporate into general ideas of the food, and trying to present them in such a way that they are appealing, and they are sort of new, but at the same time they're going back to the roots, going back to the nature of our existence, and that we are mainly we're eating vegetables before. The consumption of meat is just right now very big, but even before, when we talk about eating meat, was once in a while. Most of the staple diet, even of Native American people here, were squash, corn, and beans. That was the staple. Three Sisters, yes. So that's the staple. So we're trying to also to incorporate that, all those very satisfying and nutritious foods, and to present them in a fresh way. That way it's not, it's appealing. So it looks new. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So that's the way we're doing that.
Yeah, it's so cool that you mentioned the Three Sisters. Putting on my NASA geek hat for a minute, I worked in soil science at NASA for many years, and what's interesting about the Three Sisters is if you plant them such that you actually do a cover crop of one, then the next, and the next, season after season, the nutrients they leave behind after you've harvested them help the next plant grow. So there's an interconnectedness even there, and there's an interplay there. So when you're eating this kind of food, when you're eating vegan, when you're eating the Three Sisters, which is squash, corn, and beans, if you eat them in sort of a properly nutritious way, you're going to be getting nutrients that complement each other and give each other even more of a boost. when you eat them. So this place is already doing it. I mean, this is one of the reasons I was like so excited about being here and doing this interview with you, Sebastian, is because you're already doing so many things that subconsciously or unconsciously we could be doing, but you're doing it with intentionality. And I would love to ask you this question, and I know it sounds pedantic, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Intentionality to me is so important, and I'm sure that you've had customers who've come to this place, who've become part of the community. Do you have any stories that you can share, that you're free to share, about some of the transformations that I'm sure have happened when people come and join this community and eat this incredibly sort of whole food?
Definitely, there are plenty of stories from people that just come in once in a while and they feel much better. There are plenty of people that came here and came to the restaurant and start coming in, and they just decided that they want to be vegetarian or vegan. And definitely we are asking like one particular story, or
It's up to you.
We definitely have plenty of people that did that came in, and slowly in time, it didn't take a week, it didn't take 2 weeks, but in a few years, because we're here already, this is going to be our 9th year in August 1st, our 9-year anniversary. And that they were coming here and they decided to go vegetarian or decided to go vegan, because some people still have attachment to cheese or to eggs, but they decided to do that because they felt like it's much better for them. There were many people that came to the community and healed a lot of their problems, eczemas, stomach problems, digestive issues, and colon problems. Because we also in the community we share, we practice fasting, we practice all kinds of practices that help to heal, to help with the digestion, to help with the immune system. We like to do that because some simple practice of for example fasting once a week is a tremendous help for the system, because we give ourselves for example, we give ourselves a day off, let's say 24 or 40 hours of no eating, and what we don't realize is our system completely switches into, taking the garbage out of our city, our inner city. So definitely we shared that with the customers. I personally keep sharing whenever I sit down, with people and friends, and we have some lectures about nutrition. So we keep sharing those messages. We keep sharing the knowledge, and some people, like I think you notice, some people just come and go, and it's a little bit of like a trendy factor of like, hey, let's just go in because it's right now it's very popular, and some people find and see that, oh, this is working, I need to go deeper, oh, this is I actually feel better, I actually stopped I don't know, having problems with elimination, or my head stopped hurting. if I put down this product or that product, and that's generally what I can share. There's definitely even my wife, because she was having some skin issues and eczemas throughout years, and diet and some of the practices and fasting and going gluten-free, she was able to overcome and go out of the skin breakouts, and so it is beneficial. I personally also am living a living example that is just great. I feel much better. I was also raised in Poland, full carnivore. There's no soup without a bone there. There's no. It's telling my grandmother that they want a vegetarian soup. She was just like, okay, so I'm gonna take out the chicken from the soup, and here you go, it's vegetable soup. So that's where I'm coming from. That this kind of like. It was socially awkward to do that, and I remember also having some vegan friends, and it was difficult for them, in especially in those times. Right now, it's more of more acceptable than before, which I'm so grateful for. Such a great opportunity, so many options, I remember when even like 14, 13 years ago, when we were going to the store and trying to get something gluten-free, it was so difficult. I remember my wife just crying that she can't eat. Right now, it's just amazing. So I'm very happy that change is happening, and I feel it. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend vegan diet. I highly recommend all the practice that can come with it, like fasting, there's some colonics and enemas that we can do. So all of it. It's and sometimes just sitting down and meditating just to calm down, because all of that, if I don't know how about you, but I have definitely a tendency to get myself busy and get something in and eat in the car, and all of a sudden I forget that I actually ate, so I eat again, and it's a little bit difficult. But that's also part of the practice that we try to there was a moment that we we were not sharing Wi-Fi for that reason, for people just to sit down and without the phone just eat a meal in peace. It's difficult in this social media bombarding situation, but that's what we're trying to offer as much as possible. And there's plenty of examples of people really getting out of even heavier disease, of cancers, and we definitely have few of them in our community that by changing the nutrition, the body naturally just started to fight and started to restore and get back into balance. So for us, it's all about going back to nature and going back and bringing back the balance.
That's fabulous. I love it. And I'm also a success story. I'm open about this a lot. I manage hypothyroidism naturally. I don't take any medicine or drugs for it, in part because the original thyroid hormone came from cow thyroids. And so I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. And through my diet, through meditation is what I'm doing. as far as, and the doctors are, my sister's a doctor, and she's like, you need to write a paper because you should not be able to regulate your hypothyroidism like this. You should have to be on meds. And I don't. And so it's possible, and neither one of us is a nutritionist or whatever. We're giving you the recommendations. Really, like, do your research. Really get in touch with whoever it is that you trust and see about the kinds of choices that you can make. But also, I encourage you to be a critical thinker. Look at the options before you and give it some thought. Really, to me, that's the best way. Like, make your decisions by being an engaged and educated consumer, if you will. And that's the kind of thing that is, to me, the best way is when you make an educated decision. You're making it as much as possible for the good of all, because that's what being educated means. And it's interesting that you said about meditation and running through. I literally yesterday released an online class called Meditation for Busy People, because there's so many people who are too busy to meditate. And I went, you know what? I'm going to see if I can help, because meditation and mindfulness practice changed my life. It completely changed my life many years ago. And it's all part and parcel of the same thing. And so I guess the question I have for you before we end this wonderful conversation, I have just a couple more questions. The question I have for you is, with this intention that we're talking about, this meditative quality to your presentation, and it might sound kind of weird, but what would a sense of peace and a sense of success look like for you with this place 5-10 years from now?
What would sense of peace look like? Peace and success. Peace and success. It's as long as the customers are feeling it and we are able to maintain the quality on all levels, what we're serving to the community, and I think that's a success when we are able to help our local community, because I keep hearing that message from multiple elders from traditions, that if you want to change, it has to come from small unit, from the family, from treating your closest people the best you can. So I think success would be if the community is still supporting us in 5 years, then I think we're successful, because it's they are our thermometer of if we're doing things right, because the customer come in and let us know, say, hey, what's going on, guys? Why is this happening? I know this the following, so it's really good to have that feedback. And we would love to grow and have some other locations, but we're happy right now where we are here, and we love to serve. I think that's a success. And to maintain that peace, it is really hard. It is. It's really, the life is really, especially in New York City. It's really fast. It's things need to be done. There's tons of coffee poured every single day, just like millions of gallons, and sometimes it's hard to catch up. But but I think it's successful if we are able to keep doing that and keep attracting people and inspire them somehow. That's for me. I think it's a success.
That's fantastic. I love it. I will say for my own self, being in this place, I always feel a sense of homecoming when I come in here. Just kind of, when you like where you live, when you find a place that reminds you of where you live, that's a really good thing. And this place does. There's a wonderful cafe in Greenbelt, Maryland called the New Deal Cafe, which I used to live there when I lived in the DC area, and it's got a very similar vibe. And so they call it the community living room because people can come and they play chess and checkers, and they were for a time all vegan, and it was just this space that felt like if you want to go to a place where you can be yourself, you can eat really good food, and you'll make a friend sitting at the next table, that's the place. And I feel that way about the Jungle Cafe. I really do, that it's that similar kind of atmosphere and vibes. So I'm really grateful to all of you that you've done this, all of you who have worked and continue to work so hard to make it happen. I want to give the address so that if you are visiting New York City or if you live here, you need to come check this place out. Vegan or not, come and check out. They're at 131 Greenpoint Avenue in Brooklyn. And they're right near Transmitter Park. Here's what I do. I come here, I grab dinner, I get dessert to go, and then I go down to Transmitter Park and I watch the sunset. So that's my thing. I highly recommend that. It's just wonderful. But before we go, I'm going to ask you, Sebastian, if you would give the socials, give how somebody... In addition to coming here, what are some ways people can find out more about the community, your Instagram or your website and all of that? And then I'll have just one more question for you before we sign off.
Oh my gosh, you're putting me on the spot a little bit. I feel a little bit like a dinosaur with social media, but you can definitely find Jungle Cafe on the Instagram. You can follow us at Jungle Cafe underscore NYC, and we're also part of the Golden Drum. You can follow the Golden Drum in New York City. It's also our neighbors, and we cooperate. There's also Flowering Sun, the farm that we're also associated. So we work very closely together. If you would like to participate, and just eating, or you would like to, we have definitely some volunteers that are coming to the Flowering Sun farm, and they can come in and plant some food and participate also there. Yeah, that's our main. Those are our main contacts. Instagram, we have a lot of pictures. I don't know how our Facebook account is, but Instagram is definitely there. So you can also send us emails at junglecafenyc@gmail.com, or call us to the jungle. So
awesome. And the last thing is the website is junglecafenyc.com. And that is, you'll see all sorts of stuff. You'll get their hours. They just expanded back into breakfast. So now people are going to be coming 3 times a day, which is awesome. Yeah. And also, I have to say, where I'm sitting, every single piece of art on the wall, you know me, I'm a complete art geek. So every single piece of art on the wall is one I would like to have in my own living room. Seriously, especially that one with the water and the animals and the goddess and the tiger, and I love that one so much. I think I've taken a picture of it and posted it on my Instagram because it's so beautiful and so evocative. Anyway, before I start getting off onto art, I have one more question for you, Sebastian. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're like, I have so much to do, but you took the time, and I really appreciate it to have this great conversation with me. I have one last question that I ask everybody who comes on the show, and it's a strange little question, but I find that it can yield some profound results. And the answer is this. If you had an airplane, environmentally friendly, of course, that could skywrite anything for the whole world to see, what would you say?
Okay. I would say... Oh my gosh, definitely putting me on the spot here. I would say that don't take yourself too seriously and lighten up. And if you can find a way to laugh at yourself, you will always have a good time.
I love that. That's perfect. And in fact, I did a thing. I've got like over 500 answers. Everybody who's been on the show has answered this question. And I took a whole bunch of them. When I hit 50,000 downloads, I took a whole bunch of those and put them all in one little episode. So just everybody's answers. And just listening to like 10 minutes of people just giving their brief advice for life, the universe, and everything is amazing. And I think yours is going to close out the next section. So when I do it again, yours will be the last because it's fabulous. Hey, this is Izolda Trachtenberg for the Creative Solutions Podcast, and we're doing a special bonus little episode. Something that we forgot to do in the original episode was to do a taste test, and I'm going to let Sebastian of the Jungle Cafe tell you what we're about to taste test, and then we're going to taste test it, and I get to give you my review right now live on the air.
So we are about to taste test our new cookie. That's oatmeal raisin coconut cookie. We have also a fruit bowl, and we have an avocado breakfast toast. So that's what we are going to taste right now.
Awesome. And just to add in real quickly that the cookie is also gluten-free. Yeah, all vegan and gluten-free. So here we go. I'm going to pause this while we taste test it so that you're not listening to me chew, and then I'll be right back with the review. Okay, I'm back. I just made Sebastian laugh because I said I'm going to start talking while I'm chewing because this cookie is to die for. Okay, so let me tell you about the cookie. First of all, it's not wholly crunchy. It's not one of those where you're like biting it and it feels like you're going to get scratched on the mouth. It's got a beautiful mouthfeel. It's got some crunch to it, but then immediately upon biting into it, it's very easy to chew and it's a delightful taste. It's not too sweet. The coconut comes through. The oatmeal comes through. The raisins aren't too plentiful, which is good for me because I'm not a huge, gigantic raisin in my cookie fan. What's really good about though is like it feels when I'm eating it, when I'm chewing it, it feels like this is what I should be eating right now. You know, it seems synergistic and symbiotic just by putting the darn thing in my mouth. It feels almost like, are there nuts in it? Is there nut in this? It feels almost like there is a little bit. Coconut. There's a coconut in it. So there's coconut flakes. There's oatmeal. The raisins. It's, again, crunchy if you like crunch, but it's got that soft chewiness as soon as you start eating it. I love it. Now we're going to taste the fruit bowl and then the breakfast avocado toast. I'll be right back. Okay, we're about to taste the fruit bowl. Here's the thing about the fruit bowl. In the fruit bowl, we have what looks like blackberries, raspberries, orange, pineapple, blueberry, and strawberry. There might be something underneath, but I'm about to have something. I'm going to have a little bit of all of it. And I took a picture of it so that you'll be able to see it in the show notes, but I have to say, it just looks fresh. It looks delicious. It's colorful. You know how they say you should eat a rainbow every day? This one fruit bowl, you're pretty much getting like 6/7 of the rainbow. So I'll be right back. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the fruit bowl. Okay, here's my immediate reaction on the fruit bowl. There's cantaloupe in there too, just so you know. And the beauty of eating this right now is that it all tastes obviously fresh, but it's juicy, it's sweet, it's amazing. And Sebastian, I was going to ask you, how much of this is something that's coming from the farm that you have?
The fruits are actually, we purchased them. I'm not going to be, pretending that we're growing oranges or cantaloupes. But most of those fruits are we purchase from the market. The garnish is very possible that it's from the from our farm. Mostly our farm, Flowering Sun, grows vegetables, sprouts, and mushrooms, a lot of mushrooms. So all the mushrooms that we have in the Jungle Cafe are coming from Flowering Sun, our farm.
That's cool. And what's interesting about that is, as any farmer will tell you, you have to plant in the zones, right? You're not going to plant and try and grow avocados in an environment like in New York City or even north of New York City. That would just be an exercise in futility and disappointment. And the same with all the other tropical fruits. You're really not going to want to do that. The key, I think, when you're doing any kind of food service like this is, yes, you want to make it delicious and minimize how much distance it has to travel to get to you. If you're thinking about being environmentally conscious or conservationist, and yet you're still, as they are here at the Jungle Cafe, interested in presenting, and you'll see the picture, it looks amazing, in presenting food that works well together. And that's something that I didn't talk about and I should talk about. Okay, I've already said this a couple of times. My favorite dish is the mushroom potato tacos. They're just amazing. And Rich, my husband, and I had it 2 times ago. He didn't. This last time we were here, he got it too. And he was like, okay, you're right, this is amazing. And he said it tastes very Russian to him, which I thought was very interesting. He's like, it tastes like something your mother might make. And it does. That combination. There's a restaurant in Queens called Cheburyechnaya, which is, it's supposed to be Azerbaijani food, but they're kind of all Eastern European now. And what's interesting about it is that they have these cheburyeks, which are pastries with mushrooms or pastries with potatoes or pastries with cherries and when you have that kind of food put together, the mushrooms and potatoes together, you go, to me, of course, it feels like home. It feels like something my mom would cook. But again, these folks are combining here at the Jungle Cafe. They're combining flavors and textures in a way that is just really, it's delicious. And you know that you're going to have this explorational, I guess, or exploratory experience with your food, because some of these flavors, some of these textures, some of these ingredients you don't often see put together outside of a certain set of cultures. So again, you need to check it out. All right, now we're going to go to the avocado toast and try that too. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back after having tasted the avocado breakfast toast, and we started talking about the fact that they don't oversalt their food, and I love that. And Sebastian was just saying something that I think you need to hear. Here we go. Here's Sebastian about how much salt there is in their food and why.
This is... Sorry, I'm also part of the taste testing here, the taste testing team. But this is part of our inclusion system, because we want to make sure that everybody is included, the people who can't use too much salt, or people who just don't like oversalted things. And on each table we have salt and pepper, so if you feel like need a little bit more, you can always bless yourself with some salt.
Yeah, so isn't that awesome? Like, oh, we can make choices, right? And then I love that they give you the choices that you need to make. You know, you can make the choice. I want more salt, great. But having less salt in the food originally means that you can add to what's good for you. And if you're one of those people like I am, who I don't like salt anyway, but I'm also not supposed to have salt because of some hereditary weirdness in my family, I don't want to eat salt. Even if I liked it, I wouldn't be able to eat it. So having less of it is a beautiful thing for me. And one of the things that I'm really realizing about this place as I'm sitting here and eating and enjoying the heck out of my food is that it's empowering the customer, right? The customer is empowered to make choices. And you know me, I believe in having freedom of choice above all else. So having that place of where you have the freedom of choice and then you combine it with compassion like these folks have, I feel like I'm a commercial. I'm not a commercial. I'm not affiliated with this place other than being a huge fan. So, but it is interesting to have that notion of, oh, we get to choose and it's intentional. That's something that Sebastian said that I thought was really interesting. It's about the intentionality of their service here. And being intentional and having a focus on compassion and veganism, yes, but the compassion not just for the animals, but also for the community, for the people who are coming here to eat. And there was a woman in here just now who Sebastian mentioned started coming here when they opened almost 9 years ago, right? So she's coming here every week. And she's a lifer, right? She's an OG, as they say. And what's interesting about that to me is that this is the kind of place that once you start coming here, it becomes kind of part of your self-care, self-happiness routine. And I love that. I love that I feel welcome, and I love that I feel peaceful whenever I'm here. So I just wanted to have that, and I think we're done taste testing, but the stuff I tasted was amazing. I don't even know if I told you about the avocado toast now that I think about it. Let me talk about that. So here's the thing. Okay, first of all, the bread is toasted, like you would expect. But again, it's not hard. It's one of those things where it's crunchy, but then immediately it softens like I want my bread to. There's a bacon kind of thing in there. The tofu is nicely spiced. I tasted a couple of different things. There's a little bit of cumin in there. It's really good. Not tarragon. Oh my goodness, what's the name of the yellowing spice? It's not saffron. Turmeric. Thank you. I was like, turmeric is in there. And then there's avocado layered on top. And it's like an entire freaking avocado. They are not chintzy with their avocados here, which I'm very grateful for. And what's interesting is it came on a plate with pancakes. And I don't know if this is a meal, but as Isaul, who is the manager of the place and cooked up the amazing food, he said as he brought it over, he's like, well, here's something a little sweet and a little savory. And I went, you are my people, because I love it that way. I love things I love sweet and sour together. I love sweet and savory together. And this place, again, is intentional about how it serves you the food that you're going to eat. So everything is fresh, everything's delicious, and you got to come check it out. As always, this is Izolda Trachtenberg with a special bonus episode here. It's sort of a continuation of the episode that Sebastian and I just recorded so that you can get a little bit more information about this place and that you can see a little bit more about how they do what they do. As always, I remind you to be bold, be creative, and most of all, be kind. Sebastian, thank you once again for being on the show. This has been such a delight. I am at the Jungle Cafe. You can hear people are talking around us. The blenders are going. They're making their smoothies, and lunch is in the way. It's amazing. You should come. You should just come and check this out. You know, when I interviewed Chef Guy Vaknin, I think it was when he opened Willow, and maybe even when he opened Coletta, he said, to me, veganism is about building community of people who all want to make the world a better place. And I went, yeah, that's it. And this is a place like that. This is a place that's in the process, that's striving to make the world a better place every single day, with every single meal they serve, with every single person they greet to come into their fabulous vibe. So check out Jungle Cafe. I know I sound like a commercial. I have no affiliation. I have to say that. I have no affiliation with this place other than I think it's fabulous. You need to come check it out. This is Izolda Trachtenberg for the Creative Solutions Podcast, reminding you that the class is out, Meditation for Busy People. You know how to find it. There's going to be a link in the show notes. Reminding you that this is the time to make the decisions that are best for yourself. And as always, I remind you to be bold, be creative, and most of all, be kind.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. Please subscribe to the podcast if you're new, and it would mean the world to me if you told a friend about it. Today's episode was produced by Izolda Trachtenberg and is copyright 2023. As always, please remember this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Past performance does not guarantee future results, although we can always hope. Until next time, keep living what you believe in.